Hello everyone, I'm Antom64.
And I'm Speranda.
And welcome, I'm so excited to be able to finally say these words, to the HellfireComms playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, just a heads up here, I have played 1, 2, and, the associated DLC, Tour of the Golden Country. Spar has not. But I am going to be, openly discussing spoilers for the entire Xenoblade franchise, at least the ones I can remember, so just keep that in mind as we go through this. And also, it's going to be like a 90% blind playthrough. The things I know are the number of chapters, the name of those chapters, I know one funny meme from near the end of the game, and just assorted bits and pieces I picked up through, fan art that I couldn't avoid, so, this is definitely going to be closer to, say, the original Xenoblade run that I did all the way back in the day, except we're just doing it offline without a stream.
To make up for not having played Xenoblade 2, I have played about half of this game myself, so I'm way further ahead with this one than Tom is.
Oh, just want to enjoy the main menu theme for a second. Very nice. Ah, the game has been updated. Very good.
I don't know exactly, what was in the update, because that had popped up by the time I got to play as well.
Yeah, this seems fine to me, I guess.
I'd recommend putting on, the auto dialogue stuff, so it automatically cycles and you don't have to press the buttons.
Well, we can do that when we get in.
The load times for this one are probably the worst out of the 3 games so far, but there is a lot to load. The worlds in this one are absolutely fucking massive, to almost an absurd degree, but it's great because there's actually stuff to do in them, which obviously we'll get to later, and I've said this many times to you, just in our own conversations, mentioning a couple things about me playing it. It's amazing how much is in this game, especially because it was actually released ahead of schedule.
Really?
Completed and released 3 months early, 4 months early, something like that. Because it was originally set for, was it September or November? Something like that, near the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it ended up coming out July 29th, which was several months early, and everyone was shocked to hear about that change, and honestly, you know what? So far, it's been great. The only thing that I could say is that I wish the graphics had been shored up just a little bit more, but out of all of the things to, skimp out on, which they didn't even really skimp that much, yeah, I think the graphics are perfectly, fine for what this game is, considering how fun and, good the story is.
So I'm seeing high-end here, seeing Nopon, whatever that dude is.
I believe it's related to the Machina from the Machina village.
Ah, okay. Big Ben makes an appearance, very good. We all know the Xenoblade games to be very British. Oh.
This is the first cutscene in the game, and it's very Kingdom Hearts in the sense of I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Am I gonna look up in the sky and see, falling shulks, multiple of them?
It's funny, because I was actually about to make the joke that we sealed Big Ben in the KH1 LP, and now it's here.
Now, just as a forewarning, this game deals with the futures of both Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2, so literally anything could happen. Look, there's a fucking planet in the background there.
Yeah, again, this cutscene, I have no idea what any of it means.
Fucking Alchemoth, bro!
It's been so long, I kind of forgot this cutscene and most of the things that are in it. I have not gone back to, restart the game, so I'm probably going to be re-experiencing a lot of the early stuff from a sort of fresh perspective, much like Tom.
Oh. Okay, yeah, that's a Titan from 2. I forget the exact name of it. Interesting.
That's not the kind of zit you want to have, huh?
Jesus.
This is sort of a thing that pops up several times through the game, and it's connected to something really cool that I'll get to talk about later. something that we actually complained about in the previous thing from the Xenoblade series.
Okay. Yo, big robot fella.
Oh, yes. So, obviously, you know, because we're pulling on things from the first two games, a lot of the Mechon architecture and stuff is being reused in sort of their robots here, as you can see. You're going to see a lot of things that look like Mechon from Xenoblade 1, and they're not, don't worry, they're not coming back to, you know, renew Egil's purpose or whatever.
Yeah, sucking that red.
What we need most is life itself.
Ah, okay. Yeah, this I knew from like the trailers and whatnot. They have things called like flame clocks, and they have to renew them by killing the enemy. That's why they, you know, live to fight and fight to live.
I actually either avoided or forgot most of the trailers, so I went into this pretty fresh in terms of like all of these proper nouns and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about the flame clocks. I have to admit that the middle of a war is not my favorite setting for the start of a story, but this is basically what the world is, and this is what we're going to have to be fighting in.
Well, the first game started in the middle of a war.
True, this is more of an organized, you know, structured military war. We're going to see a lot more of the actual military, you know, ins and outs, rather than what was in the first game, where Shulk was very much on the sidelines of everything that was happening until he was thrust into it.
Really?
Yes, sir. Lower and aim, sir.
I gotta say, even just the designs of these two mechs, I guess, kind of remind me of like the Mechonis and the Bionis.
Yeah, I can see that. I will say, now that you mentioned design, one thing I want to mention, the graphical style is more like Xenoblade 2, I would say. The character proportions are more like Xenoblade 1, though.
Thank God.
So, sadly, we're not going to have the big boob waifus.
You know what? I think I'll survive, Spar, honestly.
And living to fight.
The tone of the game is much more like Xenoblade 1, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It takes itself more seriously, but also knows how to have a bit of levity here and there. So, very much like the first game, and that's definitely to its benefit.
Because slowly but surely, our world is now dying. Even though we have yet to realize that fact.
Ooh. Starting with not Monado right away.
This is Noah, our Shulk, basically. That's not a good comparison at all, but he is sort of meant to be the Shulk of the game. His sword is very special in certain ways, and we don't get to learn that for a while, and obviously I'm not going to tell you.
Thank you.
Suffice to say that it is special in a certain way. Not in the same way the Monado is. I'll say that much at least. Don't anticipate it to be a Monado.
Stand still near an enemy to continue auto-attacking. Okay, so the same as the first two games.
The only thing I would say is different is that you can't auto-attack while moving like you could in the first game. If you try to move at all, it will cancel the auto-attack, which is probably my only real complaint about the combat, other than it's a bit slow at the start.
Yeah.
Even once you get out of the tutorial segments.
That's the thing that 2 introduced. I'm not sure why, but 2 also had the attack cancel thing, which I assume we'll get into once we get ours and whatnot.
Yeah, you could cancel into arts. What I mean is more like the actual just animation and damage of the auto attack just stops if you try to move even after he starts swinging, which I'm just not particularly a fan of, because I like to reposition, you know, for, you know, whatever the arts need me to do at a certain point.
Cool. You can review tips. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Why did Xenoblade 2 have to go with its fucked up tutorials? I'll never know, but
Keep going. Right.
whatever. I'm not going to be bitching about 2 for the entire playthrough. I liked it for the most part. I just thought it was a downgrade to the first game.
Again, have not played the game, but I watch basically all the story cutscenes on YouTube. And I'm going to be honest, if I had to grade the game based on just its story, I'd give it like a 6. I really didn't think it was that impressive.
Have you watched all of the cutscenes, though.
Yes, I watched everything from the main game and Torna.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I know everything that happens. I confess that I actually watched someone's synopsis, so I did not watch every cutscene. That was a lie. But I watched the synopsis of like every important point and even some of the non-important ones. So I understand the gist of it.
The biggest twist so far is Spar lying to me. How deep will this rabbit hole go?
I lied to you many times during the Xenoblade 1 LP about certain things in that game. Those were just unintentional.
Oh, hell yeah, we got arts, baby. Let's have a look. Da-da-da. Yeah. I know all about these refills and whatnot.
I think in Xenoblade 2, your art's refilled by auto-attacking. These are on just a flat cooldown. And unfortunately, the cooldowns are kind of long, so at the start here, your combat is really slow. So that is sort of the trade-off. I would say they're stronger in this game than they were in 2, from what little I did play of that.
So yeah, that circle that appears is actually the cancel, which I believe beefs up your attacks.
Yeah, I think you get a little bit more damage, and it'll have other effects as we keep, you know, gaining mechanics throughout the game, I guess.
Fuck yeah. Got a little bit of a topple combo going on. I've heard tell of the slang used in this game.
The slang has a lot of British slang, and it also has its own slang that is specific to this world, and the combination of both of them is something, for sure.
Like you flipping spark bags.
It does get a bit strange, and you don't really get an explanation for what any of it means, the British or the unique. So for me, who doesn't know any of it, you kind of have to learn on the fly.
Oh, lifesavers. You are so important to the meme lore of Xenoblade. God bless you, Ryan.
I love everyone freaking out when the trailer dropped and you could hear one of them saying, "You're a lifesaver." It's so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but it's so important, like you said.
If only Ryan was here hitting the yoinky sploinky, our spirits would soar and we'd win this battle.
They outflanked us. Lance, the front line.
Okay, so Lands, got it. Lands, Noah, and I believe Uni is the high end tier. Yeah, there we go.
What about our backup?
And that Nopon back there is named Riku. We'll be introduced to him properly in a little while.
Oh, I know all about Riku, don't you worry.
They're not going anywhere.
Giga Chad Riku.
Anyone's moving right now, it's us.
Oh boy.
Let's go. If the front line breaks, we're all dead.
But the position!
Have to admit, a lot of the dialogue early on is a bit stilted.
Come on, move it!
I don't know, I guess they were getting into the roles to start with. A lot like how Sora is at the start of Kingdom Hearts 2, with Haley Joel Osment trying to get back into the role after his voice has changed. A lot of the voice work just sounds really strange.
I mean, they're on the battlefield, Spy. You want them to, like, fucking recite soliloquies?
No, I want them to sound like they're actually on a battlefield.
That's what's hitting us. Well, now we know.
Let's fucking kill it, mates.
Do or die, Noah.
Got it.
So from what I know thus far, Noah is the Shulk, Uni's a healer. Would you say Lands is kind of parallel to Ryan, or is he a different character?
He is a different character, but he fills the tank role in terms of combat. He's sort of a himbo in the sense that Ryan is, but not in the same way, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Get behind the enemy's back and give
Oh, that's the thing. I never went back to read that tip. That canceling lowers the cooldown of the arts. I guess I never went back and read that, so I missed it all of this time that I've been playing.
Damn. I'm pretty good at this whole, like, topple days thing.
As it usually is with your DPS tank healer, the DPS inflicts break, the tank inflicts topple, and then the healer will inflict daze. It's not like how it was in Xenoblade 1 where you could extend the timer on those by reapplying it while it's still up. It just doesn't do anything if you try to do that.
Okay.
there's also cases where when you inflict one of those status effects or aggro changes or something like that, you'll notice there's a moment of kind of dramatic lag or something like that, where everything freezes for just a moment. Unfortunately, that also means if your auto attack animation stops before it goes through and you try to press an art early, you end up missing the cancel. And I've had that happen a lot of times. It's another one of the just extremely tiny, inconvenient things of the combat that you kind of just have to get used to, I think.
So I'm assuming while I'm standing inside these little circles here, my attack is up.
That's what it says on the screen, yep. That's a thing that Uni can do with her staff there. She can put down a field that increases the attack of anyone standing in it. You'll also notice there's a circle around lands. That's a thing for any defender or tank class, that when you're standing near them in that small little circle, you actually have increased defense.
Right. Yeah, baby.
To protect my friends.
Oh, I can't fucking believe it! That's a good shot. That's a thumbnail-worthy shot.
If not for the fact that you're probably going to use the title screen anyway.
No, don't take my life juice, my precious life juice! I'm just making a sweet mockery of this really dramatic situation.
And their clock is dead.
Oh no. I'll see what happens when someone gets killed. Is it the same thing as their clock running out?
Yes, also that guy's definitely gone.
Oh, Jesus.
You'll learn more about the flame clocks as you go through, but basically everyone's connected to the big flame clock, and as that grows, your fighting prowess increases, and when it's weaker, you get weaker, and if it runs out, everyone that's connected to it dies, is what I understand.
Right.
And so, of course, everyone's fighting to keep their clock filled up as much as possible.
I don't think Noah's kind of jiving with this whole war thing, but...
Well, you're about to learn more about that, because Noah is sort of intimately connected to the death of people in terms of the job that he fills in the military. I don't know how much of this was covered in the trailer, but we're about to learn about that. I have to admit, I don't really like how his party members here sort of tease him about it, or seem exasperated.
Well, that's kind of how propaganda and indoctrination works, mate. I mean, their battle cry was, "Your lives are ours," for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes back to, like, how the world is set up, so...
There it is! Ah!
There she is.
I've played Future Connected. This is so interesting. Like, just the idea of these two worlds colliding, because, here comes a spoiler, and I think this was, like, sort of a retcon, sort of not, but the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the main universe, as far as I'm aware. Everyone else got shunted into a different dimension, which is what Xenoblade Chronicles 1 essentially is. And when Shulk took out the final boss, whose name escapes me right now, do you remember, Spur?
Zanza.
Zanza. When he took out Zanza, the architect also perished, so those two halves of God essentially vanishing, I imagine would have some detrimental effect on the world, no matter like how long it would actually take to kick in.
All of us.
So we're getting into one of the long cutscene sequences here, and when I was playing this, I actually noticed that my controller went idle. So you definitely want to try to keep your controller on so the screen doesn't, like, go dim.
Nice one, Lance.
Too early for that. Look, it's you they're after here.
Even at this point, it's not just Noah that has sort of a unique weapon. You can see Uni and Lance have sort of unique ones here.
Yeah.
Compared to like what the other kids that they're fighting against have. They seem sort of generic, the weapons that the other side has.
Uni. Shit never shuts up. Kite. Range darts.
Easy.
Alright, Ultima, let's go.
Man, he was just chilling. He wasn't doing a goddamn thing.
Oh, jeez.
Uni!
This is essentially like a more dangerous version of laser tag, let's be honest.
Yeah, just if you lose, you die.
Man, that training goes hard. Aim for their dead day. That's what I'd do.
You okay? Uni?
So Uni was not originally the healer for this party. She was just the gunner.
Right.
Fucking dead weight. Hey! Change of plan. Kite, you keep firing and don't stop.
Oh,
So then I started
Whatever you
blasting.
want.
Yeah.
what?
Go ballistic. Just draw their attention. Because what we're after here is that lame duck.
Huh.
Yorin?
Noticing they've got tattoos on
Why
them.
bother? Thing is,
Yes, those tattoos are very important, and we're going to be learning about those soon as well.
Huzzah!
Ah, right.
This is the point of the game where a lot of the world mechanics are introduced.
the fight will be good as one.
It is the beginning, and so that is understandable.
Seriously, just cast Meteor. I don't know why you're wasting MP like this.
I think a good way to think about blades or weapons that they're using is these guys are more like the generic blades that you could get into
Right.
from the rolls, and Noah's team has more of the unique ones. Obviously, the blades having sentient beings is not a thing in this world from what I've seen, so that's a big difference.
I had like the DLC bonus where you get a ton of secret rares or whatever. Never managed to pull Cosmos.
They're not in their usual formation.
Damn, this is a really dense cutscene.
Wait,
It
what?
is setting up a bunch of things, so I would say it's important, but maybe the pacing of it is going on a bit long.
Quick thinking, Lance. Lance? Tough guy, but you can't hold out forever.
Sort of like Ryan's bracer weapon from the first game.
Actually, Ryan's weapon was a gun lance, and it's not important, so I'll go ahead and say this. The weapon that Lance uses can actually morph into a machine gun kind of thing, so that's kind of cool.
Fucking sweet, Lois.
Stay put. They want to take you out the running. Yeah.
Taking out the healer is a very valid tactic.
Don't you leave that snuffing spot.
Ah, snuffing hell. I'm outnumbered. Damn, Lan's kind of goated.
Why would you?
No, the kind chubby boy, don't run!
Literally told him not to run, he runs anyway.
All that I am is yours.
Oh, he gave him all his ether?
Now you can.
Well,
carry
not
on.
enough to die, because this is just a training exercise, but enough to take him out of the combat exercise, at least.
You should have done that much sooner.
So is he dead or not? I'm getting mixed messages here.
No.
Okay.
You're literally about to see him again in a second, so I can say that.
I really should just wait, shouldn't I? Oh, I can't believe we snuffed the old sparking thing up.
We're special. We're the only ones that don't have to wear helmets.
No.
Get off me! Had to go and play the hero, didn't he?
You really think you could have taken them?
I think Yorin did the right thing. If he hadn't used his powers back there, you'd have been first out of the running.
Yeah, but
Taking out the
still.
tank is also a valid
Didn't have to
tactic.
go get
Indeed, I'm
himself
learning
killed
so
for
much
it.
from these
Come on.
cutscenes.
He was trying to protect you.
These are very character building cutscenes more than anything else. Also world building, because you're learning that,
You know who wasn't
I
up
mean,
to it?
they've been trained since birth, basically, for combat.
Yeah.
So you're definitely
Yeah,
learning about the
just
world in
stop
that
it.
sense.
No more arguing. It's my fault. I should have just done a better job.
I know that
Then
feel,
we'd have
bro.
won.
Oh, shush.
Hey,
You would be a good healer on the
So
battlefield,
much for
Spar.
getting to the final, huh? Sorry. I let us down.
I always said that I would
Day.
make like a good goalie,
I'm
or like a
so
good seeker or keeper if I were playing
sorry.
Quidditch or something like that.
Why'd you have
Because
to?
I have good eyesight and reflexes.
Why'd you have to tie it back to Harry Potter, mate? We're in the middle of another British
Your
property here.
birthday.
What?
Whose? Yours, dummy. It's your second term, right? Remember?
Ah.
I feel like you're right, I would make a good healer
Oh,
though,
it
just
would've been a
because
nice
I'm not
surprise.
one to get
Guys, was
into
pretty fired up
like the
too,
midst of
wasn't it?
combat and like throw down with someone.
Cut it out.
Now, they mentioned terms here. I know for a fact that they have an allotted
Hey.
amount of time to, like,
What?
live and whatnot.
He'll
And it was
apologise,
said to
right?
be pretty short, like
Might do,
10 years or
might
so,
not.
which left me quite confused as to why there are adults in this world
We
at
each
all.
have a
But
lifespan
if
of
it's,
10
like,
years.
measured out in
We
terms,
call them terms.
yeah.
Life
Basically,
begins
they
with our
grow
first
at an
term and ends
advanced
at the close
rate.
of our 10th. And over the course of those 10 years, we fight continually.
Right, okay.
Though in reality, there aren't that many who can hold their flame for the whole 10 years
To them, this is
Most
entirely
lose their
normal.
lives on the
They don't know
battlefield.
anything different.
before they reach year 10.
That's very interesting,
But
because
those who do
Xenoblade
survive
2
to the end
dealt with, like, living beings
are honored in
moving
special
past their mortality a lot.
ways. We call it the homecoming.
morning, Yorin.
Hey, Noah. Morning. Morning, Lance.
It's okay. He'll sleep it off out or fight it off, I guess. That's what they do around here.
Yeah, young Lands is kind of a prick. Not gonna lie.
Quick, we're gonna miss the homecoming.
Oh, and then the Far From Home. Don't forget about No Way Home.
First one they've ever had here, right?
These are the jokes, folks.
Yeah, isn't it awesome?
I was watching a stream last night where the streamer said they had never watched any of the MCU Spider-Man movies because they're just not a fan of the MCU in general, which I can understand. But kind of the reasons they were giving were not the best. I'm not going to echo them or like say who it was or anything, but I kind of had to mute the stream for a little while.
Wow. Ooh, fancy armor.
Come to think of it, it kind of reminds me... I'm pretty sure I thought this at the time. It reminds me of Fiora's Mechon armor.
A little bit.
Obviously not the color scheme, but just kind of the design.
Ah, there he is! She must be pretty old at this point. I'm not entirely sure, like, how many years
Even the Queen's
this
come
takes
out.
place after 1 and
So
2.
that's Her Majesty, huh?
An educated guess with what I know, an extremely long time.
And High Entia do live for a pretty long time, so...
Yeah, we don't have a lot of information about how long they actually live, I think. I think Melia's dad was said to be at least several hundred, if not several thousand years old. So, you know, definitely at least that much.
Ah, a medley of all 17 Pokemon openings.
I hope you like flutes, by the way. Because there is a lot of flute music in this game, because it's tied into Noah's thing. He is one of these people that plays the flute as the off-seeing or homecoming, whichever the case may be, for the people of the world.
Yeah, I know about how they mixed or tried to mix in, like, flutes and whatnot with most of the OST. It's pretty neat. I think it will give Xenoblade 3 a lasting musical impression.
Quick just thing for me is that Obviously, I don't think the music's going to be as good as the first game. I don't think any OST will ever top Xenoblade 1 for me. But it's good. It's definitely good. There's a lot of memorable tracks in here.
Good.
You guys too. You're totally making it with me.
Of course.
And you, Noah, right?
Huh? Sure.
Fuck Joran, I guess.
Yeah. You bet.
Well, he was kind of like, he's very not confident in himself.
Our lives
Or
depend
unconfident, whatever the word
on
is.
your wish for a chance to take part in the homecoming. The chance to return to the Queen's embrace.
Huh.
Carrying out 10 years of service fighting. That was our whole world. Nobody ever thought to question it. Until that day.
Very dramatic to say that while looking at this person. Who is not important in the slightest as far as I know. This is just a random NPC as far as I am aware.
And then he became me.
Because like I said, Noah is one of the Offseers, so he is the one that does this. On the battlefield especially, we're actually going back to sort of present day as the scene is shifting around.
Yeah, I'm loving the tone so far.
It's nice to actually have a game take itself seriously, instead of having jokes and flirting every 2 minutes, huh? I really didn't like Xenoblade 2 then.
But that's just rude.
And the live ones better watch where they're going or they'll get run over too. I really like Lance's jacket. It's so cool.
We could outfit the entire group with his fit.
Oh, you do know about that. Okay.
I watched that final coverage of the game, and thankfully it was very non-spoiler. It was handled pretty well.
Yeah, the clothing changes is actually a really cool thing.
Huh?
I tend to just kind of leave everyone in their, default outfit because
Why
I
not?
think it's, the best ones for them, pretty much. But I think it's such a great thing to be able to just change between stuff.
They don't have an Offseer, though, to send them.
Interesting.
Yeah, they all bit the dust.
No, it was
of
very
course.
respectful. Because the enemy was wiped out, their Offseer is obviously
Look,
dead.
there's no rule not
And
to.
so they can't be
Then what? You're just gonna
sent off to wherever the motes of light go. And so Noah does it for them. And a lot of Offseers for
But still,
this
Yeah,
faction
yeah.
would
We get
probably
it
not do
already.
that.
Friend or foe, someone has to lay them to rest.
I don't sound like
Well,
that.
that is my role as an Offseer.
Right.
is my voice that deep?
Shot at you. I wasn't trying to be anyone specific. Right. I've had about enough of all this depressing crap. Let's head back and hit the showers. I'm all gunked up with blood and sweat.
It really is a shower right now.
Transport. Guess we missed it again.
Oh,
I
bollocks.
actually did not think about that line when I first got to that, yeah.
So she's kind of Ryan and
No
Charlotte
one
mixed
always
together,
does
as you
this.
do.
How many times
She's
has it
very
got to your head
sarcastic,
now?
yeah.
Bit of a ladette.
I have to admit, I like all of the main party. I think they're all great in their own ways.
If there's one thing that Xenoblade does well, and I'm definitely including two in this, especially Rex, who grew on me a lot over the course of the game, is that they always have great characters. Even if you don't, agree with some of the story beats and whatnot, watching the characters go through their arcs is always entertaining. Ooh, seeing some very familiar creatures here.
Xenoblade's also very consistent with its enemy types, and you'll see a lot of things that you recognize, and a bunch of new ones as well.
Okay, they'll give you EXP once found. Now, will I get that immediately, or will it go into, a little pouch that you have to sleep to get, in 2?
Check this place out.
2. You have to rest at specific points to get some of that XP. Obviously, you still, level up from combat XP separately.
Okay. This is a thing that they actually introduced in that final showcase that I mentioned. A little waypoint that is so useful.
Yes, and also while holding down that button to activate that, you can control the height and distance of the camera from your character, so you can set that however you want to.
Well, this is perfect for me, mate.
Are we the last ones here? Sorry I made you wait.
Let's fucking beat up a rabbit. Woo! Pop it off!
This is one of the tracks that you're going to hear a lot because it's combat music, obviously. So it's a good thing that it's a pretty good one.
Indeed.
So,
Are we the last ones
when's
here?
the battle happening?
Sorry I made you wait. Here we go, guys.
Let's give him the usual.
I'm surprised we didn't aggro this fella.
He didn't care. Or she. It's an animal. Could be anything it wants to be.
They die all the same, it's perfectly fine.
I suppose.
I noticed Noah's not fucking sending them off over a little tutor-loot.
They're not connected to the flame clock, so they don't get the same thing.
Fuck them, I guess.
See that little sparkling enemy right there?
Here we go, guys.
Pretty sure this was shown in the trailers. There are enemies like this that are lucky that have a good chance, if not a guaranteed chance, to drop some rare items when you kill them.
Very cool.
There are a few different enemy types, and the game will explain this later, but I'll go ahead and say there's also elite monsters, which are basically just kind of stronger versions of the normal ones. They can also be... Those things are really high level, and you should not go over there.
I know, I know.
Elite monsters can also be lucky, so you can get both of those things combined. And then there's also the unique monsters, which are basically what you expect from, previous games. And they're a pretty good contest, this one. I would say unique monsters are stronger in this game than they were in the first one.
Interesting.
More dangerous, for certainly, and a lot of that might be down to the combat mechanics and how all the party work together and everything.
When's the battle happening?
Probably just going to try and get a single level up as we explore through here.
Yeah, for sure. I would recommend just kind of running around doing whatever you want to.
Let's give him the usual.
I told you this before. I'm pretty much going to let you do whatever you want in terms of like going places. There's a few things that I want you to absolutely cover in terms of side quests and stuff like that. But the rest of the time, you can just kind of do whatever the hell you want, my dude.
I think these episodes are going to air on the longer side, like upwards of 50 minutes per, just because I want to take my time and truly sink my teeth into this.
One of the things, because I've played a lot of this game so far, I've played around 60 hours.
Jeez.
And around half of that has been spent completely ignoring the main story quest. And a lot of that had to do with some, personal stuff that was going on where I had to play in handheld mode and did not have sound on, and I didn't want to continue the story while I couldn't hear the dialogue. But there's so much in the game, you can spend 30 hours on side content in the first 30 hours of the game. It's actually kind of insane how much is in this game. I'm going to be saying that a lot because it actually amazes me.
Good information bears repeating, mate. That is a Let's Play tip for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hear that, Noah? Lance wants something a bit meatier.
Fucking uni.
I will say I like the banter, but I feel like it repeats too often.
Well,
You get the exact same lines over and over, and I feel like even in Xenoblade 1, you would get a lot of different ones from battle to battle. In this game, it just feels like they repeat every single battle the exact same lines.
oh Noah, just because friends are worn out from battle is no excuse to not pay attention to surroundings. Direct eye is right here. I'm just going to assume that my voice acting is accurate for Riku there.
You're not far off.
Also, who is this guy? I didn't see you in the group.
This is Mwamba. He is our fourth member. Because obviously, Yoren is not here. Pretty easy to notice that much, for whatever reason. He's basically filling the 4th slot in our party right now. I believe he is also a gunner. I think he's a DPS. So he is not a healer like Uni. I assume everyone knows what I mean when I say DPS, by the way. That's just an MMO term that I picked up. It means damage per second. It's just a damage dealer.
I hope we can make use of this.
Ooh, an attack stone. Equip accessories, da-da-da. Good stuff.
Yeah, there's no armor system like there was in the first game. You just have accessories and a few other things that we'll pick up later. Also, as you can see, a lot of things are locked off until you get to a certain level.
I kind of like that, actually. Like, you know, chance for a different accessory is coming. You just have to work towards it.
I think as you keep unlocking more of these slots for accessories and all of the other things for arts and stuff like that, is when the combat really starts to open up and you really start to get into what the game really wants you to do in terms of fighting. Because, I'll be honest, the start is not the best. I would say Xenoblade 1 had a better opening in terms of story and combat. But that might be a personal preference. People might, prefer this one, or even prefer Xenoblade 2, even though I think the opening to that game was really, really bad. But again, personal things are different between people.
You haven't played 2, blah 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 blah.
I played the opening.
He's played the opening, blah 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 blah.
I got to Gormott.
Fair enough. Ready or go, Motty?
Oh, jeez.
Alright, pull out the flute, let's send him on his way. So Noah definitely shares Shulk's propensity for pacifism.
Yes, he does. He respects life, at least, humans in this case, not the monsters, because the monsters are monsters.
Fucking dirty nop-on shits. Don't like him being referred to as husks, but whatever.
Such is the officer's duty.
Sadly, you're going to have to get used to the word, because it's used a lot.
Do I get some sweet EXP for this?
You get affinity with the colony.
Okay.
Which is basically all you get out of doing those, but there's a lot of those strewn about, and it's one of the things that you can just go find when you're exploring. That's one of the things that I said, there's just a ton of stuff to go do. You can find them all over the place.
Oh my god, level 33. No, it's just 2 level 3s.
Fight with focus.
I know. I'll rein myself in. Come here. I got something for you.
God, remember back in Xenoblade 1 where you couldn't fight in the water?
Yes, but the enemies could fight you.
You've got them pinned down. That's your weak point.
Looking good, though.
And there is a reason that you fight the same enemies in both 1 and 2 and 3, and it didn't just develop a laziness. Well, not so much laziness, more efficiency. But, with beings being cast hither and thither, you're bound to see them in the, different universes, so to speak.
I mean, the Bunnets are honestly just a really great design for a beginning enemy like this, too.
God, Topple is so brutal. Hey, what's up?
Here we go, guys.
Let's give him the usual, Noah.
Now's your chance. You're a lifesaver. I got something for you. You're a lifesaver.
That line from Lance where he says, "Come here, I've got something for you," that is burned into my memory from the amount of times that I've heard it.
Oh, the soldiers of a certain faction in 2 are way worse in that regard. I think they even toned that down via a patch.
Oh, alright. It's just, that one line is something that Lance says every time he pulls aggro off of another party member, so you can hear it like multiple times every couple seconds. And it gets really old really quick.
God, just eviscerating these guys.
Yeah, you are a few levels above them.
You itching to get wrecked? Come here. I got something for you. Thanks.
Yep, already getting tired of that line again.
Not me. I revel in repetition.
Kind of have to, it's your job.
Living to talk and talking to live.
If I didn't like repetition, I wouldn't like JRPGs as much as I do, so...
Ground beat! That was over way too soon.
Hear that, Noah? Lance wants something a bit meatier.
It was funny the first time, you know.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. You just hear the same ones over and over again. It gets better when you get more party members and they, banter with different people, but here at the start, it's, yeah. It is just like 3 lines over and over.
Yeah, I just remembered you said I have to rest of the place to level up, so,
Be enough for our daily hygiene needs.
Jesus Christ. Maybe we should just move forward now.
No, it's no substitute for a proper bath.
Well, like I said, you can level up just by fighting stuff. It's not that you can't level up outside of the rest point.
Right.
You gain XP naturally by fighting enemies. Certain XP that you get, like finding landmarks or, I think, completing quests, goes into that pool that you can use at rest points.
Alright, you want some?
I'll grab their attention so you can circle around their back.
I think this is, yes, this is a specific fight because they are doing a tutorial here.
Right.
You could tell it was a very specific story, like, intended one, because the circle that goes around the arena is basically where it stops. Think the barriers that pop up in Cage 2 for no reason. There you go, get that AoE.
Is it meaty? You know how much Lance loves meat?
Just vibe with the music.
Nice.
So, when's the battle happening?
Damn. There's a fucking shit on them in death, you know?
They're monsters, they can't feel anything anyway, not emotional pain.
What would you do if it turned out they were all sapient? Not just sentient, but they knew what you were saying. They felt the stings, the arrows and the barbs.
Getting some serious deja vu because for whatever reason I remember someone saying that when I played this originally, when I played this section. That's fucked up.
Colony 9. Noah, will you do the honors?
I heard the words Colony 9 in there.
Yes, Colony 9 is where we're heading back to.
Fuck yeah, buddy. That's a nice little side quest, just finding your fallen comrades and sending them on.
Yeah, and sometimes you find groups of them, and it sends them all off at once, rather than one at a time. And it plays a bit of a longer melody, so those are cool too.
You're a lifesaver. Hey, this isn't too bad. Thanks, one whopper.
I wish we could have avoided that.
So, when's the battle happening?
How are you, Nick? Who's the fucker in the middle of the path? What are you, a wandering samurai?
Ah, what pain. Let's use combos to wipe them out. Noah, you break their starts. I'll follow up afterwards.
Way ahead of you, my friend. Way ahead of you.
This is basically for people that don't know about it. There is some new stuff in this. There are actually 2 things that you can do after toppling an enemy. You can daze them, and then there's an extra thing called Burst. Does a bunch of damage and then knocks them backwards.
Protect my friends.
Or, after a topple, you can launch an enemy, and then the next thing is a Smash, which will basically do the same thing, but it sort of keeps them airborne and, unable to attack you back for a longer period of time, I guess.
That was a thing that was introduced in 2, I believe.
Ah, okay, yeah, again, I wouldn't know that, so...
Fake Xenoblade fun.
Sort of, yeah. That's why I don't call Xenoblade my favorite video game series, because, before this one, I only liked Xenoblade 1.
That's fair. I thought I was a Star Fox fan for the longest time, but then it turned out I only really loved Lilac Wars or Star Fox 64. But that's fine. You don't need to be a super fan of something to enjoy a thing.
I like Star Fox Assault. I don't like 64 that much.
Bizarre. I just don't understand that. We're gonna have to fight to live and live to fight over this.
We have to fight about a lot of things, let's be honest. Our opinions differ on many things.
Always always a welcome sight.
Hold on, I'm trying to be aesthetic. That's good. Be a real shame if, like, there were some husks around here, like, within walking distance of Colony 9.
I don't think there are. There's probably some out in the field on the other side there that aren't terribly far away, but I don't think there's any right here at the beginning.
Wonder what these Nopon coins are for.
They have a few different uses. They could be used to substitute for materials in certain things,
Here we go, guys.
or level up your classes if you don't feel like waiting for that. There's a lot of things that you can use them for.
Things are getting good.
I was extra petty by using a back attack from the side. So a little walk around here before I go inside the colony.
Noah's back attack edge thrust is not quite as satisfying as Shulk's backslash. Doesn't have the same oomph to it.
I will say, like, just unsheathing a weapon doesn't really have as satisfying a ka-clunk as, like, the other games either, but that's monumentally petty, so don't take it as a real criticism.
I mean, the fact that they can just pull them out from nowhere is pretty cool, so... I never used the quest path thing that you've got on here. I never really used that much. Mostly because I was just kind of, you know, doing whatever the hell I wanted, and I knew pretty much where to go because of the marker that's on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I guess it's nice to help people. Oh, there is a husk. You can see the red glow of it on the hills right there.
That sucks.
Yeah, the nice thing is that those are very visible from far away because of the glow of the, you know, the red lights. So you can always tell where they are, pretty much. Same for, like, the containers, because they have a yellow glow that, you know, goes up into the air a little bit, so you can tell pretty much where anything that you're going to want to go explore is at because of stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
How easy was that?
So, when's the battle happening?
Very funny, Uni. Like, what, 4th or 5th time now?
They're from Colony 9. Noah, will you do the honors?
It would be weird if they weren't for Colony 9.
Yeah, also I'm the only one who can send him on his way, so... You know, Uni, you ever thought about specking into a flutist? No, I'm good. I'm good. But there are so many collectibles to collectivize.
They're kind of everywhere in this game, and it... Unlike 1, where I felt like I cared more about the collectibles that I was getting, there's so many of them in this game, I kind of just... It's sort of background noise, and I don't even really notice that I'm picking them up.
Acneans, eh? Pretty fancy.
Yes, this is Colony 9.
It's gonna take a while to not associate the original theme with this place.
Did you ever think Colony 9 would be literally in the body of a giant mechon?
No, but I appreciate the irony.
Except for the people on the battlefield that didn't come back, Mwamba. Did you think about them?
No, they can't afford to. They have to keep moving forward.
Are you ready for one of the most awkward cutscenes that I have ever had to sit through in a video game?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think we're quite there yet. You have to actually walk over there to initiate it, but... Man,
Character stats will increase as the flame cry. Oh, interesting. That has a gameplay thing as well.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding about that.
Means they have something new to say.
And like it said, talking to them for the first time will increase your affinity with that area just a small bit. I think that was the same in at least Xenoblade 1, where talking to someone registered them on the affinity chart, and you would get a small boost to the affinity as well.
I think they've brought back the affinity chart like good and proper. Okay. It's bathing time.
We have a bath cutscene.
Everybody gets one.
I think the thing that makes this really awkward for me is that the men and women in this military don't take separate baths.
Oh, it's like Starship Troopers.
I guess because their time spans are only
Say,
10 years,
You know
romance
how
is
you
not
came
really a
off
thing they
here
think
after
about.
what
You know,
happened?
you kind of got to focus on what's important as far as, you know, what the military is leading them to.
You gotta focus on that grind, you know?
Yeah, for whatever indoctrination that's worth.
Wow, a certain kind of grind. Oh no!
Uh-huh.
Does it still hurt?
I did point out that Yorin wasn't here.
No. I can't say I'm totally over it, but I'm getting there. I've sent so many of our comrades. A lot's happened,
Riku is trying to enjoy his bath.
both for me and those sent
If
home.
not for Ricky, I would say Riku is my favorite Nopon, but Riku definitely is a close second. I'm going to mix up their names now. I've never done that before up to this point.
Wow.
Poor guy. Pushes himself too hard.
That thing ever heal?
The cut that he got on his hand as a kid? Yeah.
What can we do? He's been like this for ages.
Oh, I bet you feel bad now, don't you?
He never got to apologize, so... You know.
Conveniently placed Steam.
You guys talking about the battle? Don't worry about the bonus points, because I'll have nabbed them all.
The snuff you on about? I'll have you know I clocked up a fair bit more.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm the one who took the heavy off its hinges. They give you loads of points.
Ooh, big deal.
This is a very
If that
progressive
heal come A
military.
few seconds later, you'd be sleeping in the dirt.
Yeah, no.
Guys, I'm
Part
trying...
of the plan.
Bath, please?
Couldn't tell. I just felt like giving you the credit. But don't worry, you can thank me later.
Huh? You're a right
I didn't
bucket,
think about it
love.
when I first watched this, but it's a very standard thing in Japanese culture to
Alright,
shower
then.
off and
Off
then
to bed
go
with me.
sit in a bath
Yeah.
to
All
relax.
that
Yeah.
work
Which is not a
really
thing in
done
other
over on me.
cultures as far as I know.
I'm sorry.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Bath complete. EXP gained. Probably. Oh.
We advanced the main quest, that's all that's important.
Maintenance on our gear before I kit.
Lance, you're being very diligent.
Feronis, eh?
That's the giant mechon thing. Lots of proper nouns to learn in this game.
So, Aionios is like the world they live in, right?
Yes. I'm not sure if it's the name for the continent or just the world as a whole. Haven't quite figured that one out yet.
Fair enough.
Levinus are the smaller robots, like the ones you were fighting out on the field.
God, they are throwing British idioms left, right, and centre here.
We're gonna have some wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff soon.
Oh, joyous day. You're right, lads? Lads.
Yeah, the party members will do that while you're talking to folks. I think once he enters the conversation and starts talking, his character model has to sit still for a specific animation, so that's why he stopped.
Ah, the rear gate.
Odd that you didn't get the landmark when you arrived here, but I guess it threw you into a cutscene.
So if this is the rear gate, the main gate must be over there.
Yes, which I don't believe we can access yet, because you have to go rest here first.
There's as good a part as any in this part to conclude, I suppose. Resting is serious business. That's one for VG Advisor.
Oh, there's a bunch. There's a bunch in this game for sure.